Hey everybody, thank you all for coming. I was scheduled to do a cocktail today, and that was the Retire On cocktail. It got delayed today because of the most incredible rally that was ignited by XRP. So first of all, thank you all for being here. Thank you for all those donations. This weekend will be bonkers. We'll sponsor tons and tons of animals, and we appreciate that as well. And we have a team that loves giving back, so you're helping so many people and making the world a better place. But anyway, this has been a sea of green, crazy rallies, proxies on fire. This year now has been the best year of my life, and it's not even over yet. So thank you all. It's going to be incredible. I was going to crack out the pump, but as they say, never look a gift horse in the mouth. Anyway, I have always had my steady steed here, bully, since the beginning of the year. And I've always been bullish, but never did I expect such crazy returns. So let's just jump in. This story today is how XRP ignites alt season, but I'm also going to temper it with a bit of reality as well. There's a lot of things that are just getting way ahead of themselves, and I don't want to throw cold water on the party, but let's remember we have a long way to go. And these things are running way faster than expected. I've been expecting a front running of kind of crypto so far for quite some time, but it's way ahead of expectations. Anyway, and this is of course not investment advice, it's edutainment. And of course, the most important piece, if you want to amplify your intelligence, recluse man, you are so amazing. If you want to amplify your intelligence, best alpha, bar none, anywhere on YouTube, not voted by me, voted by you all, it's here. So please subscribe. Thank you all for coming. Now let's talk about, kind of want to set the stage for what's going on, what has happened, and why it is so darn profound. So first of all, it's a story of risk capital. The SEC slams altcoins. Okay, we saw that a few months ago, and I was never concerned. People thought, you don't understand what's going on. You're so blasé about the SEC. They're going to kill crypto and altcoins. If you're not just in Bitcoin, you're dead. No, I always said, doesn't matter. Even if the US disappeared off the face of the earth, heaven forbid, of course, it would not impact crypto. Crypto's here to stay. And I always stuck with that. Now, the Ripple case turns on the SEC, and risk capital earmarked for crypto startups finds a home, and that is altcoins. What does this all mean? Well, in my little mind here, I'm thinking, all right, so I shared a slide on Octa on Tuesday. By the way, I did say altcoin season was coming on Tuesday as well. But one slide was the amount of venture capital going into the cryptoverse was non-existent in 2023. They pulled out, but they have all this money they're sitting on. And now they just decided, well, because of what happened with Ripple and the SEC and the risk of basically, the translation of this is what XRP do is they take bunches of tokens, give them to secondary VCs, and those secondary VCs dump them to retail on the market. That was judged today as being illegal. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Got to get into the nuances. This is a little bit tricky, but anyway, let's jump in. This is a monumental development here. This article, I can't remember where I pulled this from, New York Times or Wall Street Journal, but Congressman Tom Emmer weighs in on the Ripple case, calls it a monumental development. Now, what's interesting about this fellow, Tom Emmer, he is the House Majority Whip, and he advocates for making the ruling into law and the Securities Clarity Act. That is, what he's trying to do is remove SEC Chair Gary Gensler and reorganize the SEC completely. And he is an important fellow in this whole play. Now, Ripple ruling establishes that a token is separate from an investment contract and institutional sales of XRP deemed unregistered securities. However, while programmatic sales on secondary market were not. That is the important piece. XRP token itself is not considered an investment contract under the Howey requirements. This, ladies and gentlemen, is huge, monumental. Mr. Emmer is dead right there. And this guy is like, huh? What just happened? Obviously, something was shady. It's very clear now, choke point 2.0, everything else. He's not necessarily probably a bad guy, but somebody is behind him telling him what to do. That's my theory. Now, I'm going to take a second and talk about the power of getting in early and then get back to all of this, get back to some charts and altcoin season. But this is what I just want to stress and the importance of sometimes I always say get in early, get in hard, but I just want to illustrate this because sometimes people have been waiting to get in. And and I always say, like, in any given 10-year period, there's 35 days that matter. Today was one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. But the power of getting in early, if you buy something at $8 and it goes to $24, you make a 3x, okay? And then you wait to buy it at 24, you lose that 3x opportunity. But that's not the stinger. Now, if you buy at 8, it goes to 24, you make a 3x and you hold. Then it goes to 100. Now you've made it 12.5x, okay? If you wait till it's 24 and it goes to 100, you make a 4x. And the difference is this, okay? It may seem like, oh, I'll just wait until there's some clarification. But remember, if you put 10K in at $8, that becomes $125,000. That is life-changing money. That is a huge deposit on $1 million home, perhaps, in some places. If you're late, your 10K becomes 41K, which is awesome. But the point is, it's important to get in early. And we had, they always say millionaires are made in bear markets. We had a nasty bear market. And I was excited because it gave us opportunity to get things really cheap. That's the important point here. So everybody asked me, when you say get in early, get in hard, what does it mean? That's what it means. Now, back to business. Let's talk about some Bitcoin charts. This is Sol divided by Bitcoin. And you can see a couple of days ago, I talked about it breaking that overall resistance. I put it on Twitter and Patreon, etc. But here, not only has it broken through that resistance line on this chart, but it also broke through the 200-day moving average. And what's significant about this is the first time the Sol Bitcoin pair has been above the 200-day moving average since 2021. So it's been an ugly long time, but there's been huge movements. Now, let's talk about XRP, and let's talk about the God Candle that happened today. Literally, this thing popped 80%. It's insane. It's probably even higher now. I can't even keep track. And if my eyes are a little red, so I haven't taken my head out of a screen all day. But this is a God Candle, and this is the AltCoin's market cap, Total 3. You're going to hear a bit about Total 3 today. But a God Candle typically has a really long body, and the part of the candle that represents the difference between the open and the closed prices. A small upper wick, the part of the candle represents the price reached during the day, and a small lower wick, that part of the candle that represents the lowest price during the day. And this indicates that the asset, in this case XRP, opened near its low for the day, rallied sharply, and closed near the high. And we have a God Candle for XRP. This is extremely rare, and it's ignited something very special. So let's talk about coin market cap. Less Bitcoin and Ethereum. It shot up over $40 billion today. Rizzo, pleased to meet you. But Gary Gensler scared the hell out of everybody, shooed a lot of people away. They decided to focus on, say, just Bitcoin. But look at how this whole thing can just blow up so fast. The reversal pattern is insane, and that is how things move. Sometimes in historic altcoin bull runs, everything happens in sometimes 2 months or so. But this is a huge move today. Let's talk about the top 50 coins versus Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin's in black in the middle. More than half of the top 50 altcoins have completely outperformed Bitcoin, and we just got started. Of course, we know some of the names. Bitcoin Cash, top of the list. Number 2 on the list is Solana. Number 3 is XLM. Number 4, BSV. 5, Maker, Aave, XRP. All of these names have been on fire. There is one red name, however. It's Algorand that I was talking about also on Tuesday. Some things don't change. But again, a rising tide will float all boats. So don't get too excited when you see things that shouldn't be rising, because that's just what happens. Now, let's talk about what a year so far as well. I'm going to look at all of the top cryptos, more than, I think, $100 million in market cap. Their performance year to date. It's a bit of an eye test chart, but if you look on your right-hand side, this is the change year to date. Number 1, 161%. Solana year to date. Ripple, 142%. Stellar, XLM, which has really bad tokenomics, by the way, up 126%. The Graph, 120%. I actually mentioned the Graph in October 2022, saying that one has a lot of upside. Even if it goes back to all-time highs, you can see here, it has another 2,200% to go, which is insane. So this is just the crazy thing about crypto. That's why we're in the game. It can be very painful at times. It can wreck your head, but you're in it for these types of days. Aptos 118%, Bitcoin 91%, Ethereum 67%, and a long way to go. Then we have Phantom, Filecoin, Aave, Tron, Litecoin, Hedera. Hedera beats Cardano year to date. Engine Coin, Avalanche, Polkadot, Chainlink, Near Protocol, and it goes down and down and down. In fact, Matic is just below that. Matic is only up 12% year to date, even after a huge day today. That's how crazy this is. So it's critical to be on the right horses at the right time. That's the message I want you all to get. Now let's look at where we are. On Tuesday, I did talk about, hey, we went from 14 to 16. We're coming out of Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance is kind of falling once again. Well, here you see it again. We're back up at 47. That is, ladies and gentlemen, middle of the road. Bitcoin season has ended pretty fast today. We shot from, I think on Tuesday it was at 16. Now we're at 47. Again, I just want to stress, everything moves fast in this space. People are looking to deploy capital, $5 trillion in the US alone on the sidelines, and big money is coming. And the institutions that I mentioned on Tuesday as well, the whole video is about, institutions are buying whatever they can get their hands on. They don't discriminate. They don't even do any analysis like Bitcoin miner. Okay, that one. I'll buy it, you know. Vanguard last week as well. So let's look at the altcoin market as well and where we are for a little bit of perspective. Nobody has seen this chart before, but if you look at the value of the altcoin market, it's worth a lot more even today at its current level than it was at the all-time high in the 2017, 2018 altcoin rampage. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are just beginning. And this time is different. So when you hear people talking about, well, last cycle it did this and it did this and it didn't react until that, it doesn't matter. It's a different ball game this time. Very different. The alts are far more mature. They make a truckload of money. They have millions of users. On and on and on. It is different. Back in 2017, it was a concept. Okay, it's kind of like comparing AI today to the dot-com bubble in 1999. I lived through both. Now, Ethereum back at $2,000. It did hit $2,000. Let's check where it's probably coming a bit down to earth right now. It's at $19.90, so it's $10 off that. But that is a big move. And that is the first time it hit this level since May. Again, seems like a long time ago, but that was a lot of excitement too. And I said on Tuesday as well, it's only a matter of time before we break 1900 and then up from there. So let's look at the Grayscale discounts. This also has been a huge move. Very, very exciting. And in fact, the reason I share this is you guys know I'm very big on pair trading and finding opportunities to swap between assets wherever I can. And I do it all the time. And this one was interesting. On DCA, 2.5 weeks ago, I can't remember if it's my channel or CTO's channel, I spoke about the 55% Ethereum Trust, the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, the ticker's ETHE. It was 55%. Today it's 37%. And the GBTC discount has gone under 25%. We haven't been under this discount level since, I don't know, early 2022, or 2021, something like that. A crazy low. And that's how fast this moves. So consider this. When you have a discount go from 55 to 37%, that's a rocket booster on your position. So 2.5 weeks ago, Patreon post trade, I swapped raw pure form Bitcoin. And I rarely swap it for things unless I'm really, really bullish on the other asset. Beginning of the year, I swapped pure Bitcoin for Tesla. And not all of it, just a piece of my bag. And here, the 2.5 weeks ago, I swapped pure Bitcoin for the Grayscale ETH pair trade. And that's what the chart did over the last 2.5 weeks. And the huge dip today. So again, you can find opportunities even within assets. You don't need money to make money. You could take your existing asset, swap it for another, and then go back again when the time comes. That's the beauty of pair trading. Now, SEC targets Surge, Solana, Matic, Cardano all had a massive, massive day today because that federal judge ruled XRP's tokens on exchanges and through algorithms do not constitute investment contracts. It's that simple. One sentence. Altcoins go up by $40 billion. It's such an exciting time to be alive. And sorry if I'm a bit giddy, a lot of coffee today, very little sleep. Anyway, let's get into some nitty gritty that you need to know about. XRP selling to VCs to dump on retail, is an unregistered offer and sale of investment contracts. Okay, that's what I started the whole video off beginning. And I'm going to read this out as well in case some of you are driving or on a bicycle or whatever. Having considered the economic reality and totality of circumstances surrounding the institutional sales, the court concludes that Ripple's institutional sales of XRP constituted the unregistered offer and sale of investment contracts in violation of Section 5 of the Securities Act. So for all those XRP lovers out there, I don't want to throw cold water in your party. They are not out of the woods. But the ruling is so important for altcoins and listings, and that's what we care about. Now, what XRP do, they issue billions of tokens like clockwork every quarter, give them to people to dump. Maybe those people pay pumpers to pump it, etc. I don't know. I don't care. I don't follow that stuff at all. But that is against the law. Now, secondary VC funds. This is from Adam Cochran, who is a great follow on Twitter. And he said, I can just imagine the crappy secondary VC funds who buy bulk cheap tokens on secondary OTCs, over the counters, from teams like Ripple and dump it on the market just sitting there like this today. The game is over. CERN, thank you so much. But this is very profound, this tweet from Adam Cochran. This says, and it's actually a good thing for us as retail investors. It means we'll be dumped on less. Dumping on will still happen, but it'll be less than before because this whole player or series of players is now taken out of the equation. Good stuff. In addition, net, the most important takeaway from all of this, and again, hat tip to Adam Cochran. As I mentioned before in the previous screenshot, he is one of the best followers on Twitter. XRP is not a security. Clearly, Bitcoin and ETH and other altcoins are not securities either. And good luck on stopping the Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF, etc. Now, Mr. Gensler, good luck. This little quote here, this is a win for altcoins. That's why I'm very excited. XRP is probably the most centralized or one of the most centralized foundations with a key figurehead who has a standard sales via exchanges and a formal distribution program. If these are not securities, nothing, I repeat, nothing sold via exchanges is. That's our win, ladies and gentlemen. Most important slide I'll present this whole year, so it's great for us. But let's move on a little bit. I'm not going to talk a bit about XRP, but just a couple, actually I will, because you need to know about this. So first of all, it's kind of crazy. The 93% of XRP is held by the top 1% of addresses. And after 8 years, it still inflates at 20%. Okay, and people will dispute on that all they want. It's just data. We pay thousands of dollars every month to subscribe to lots of data feeds that go into our compendium. Okay, and the compendium score is 3.8, which technically it is ranked 309th out of the top 500 tokens. And I guarantee you, 95% of those top 500 tokens are garbage. They are money grabs. They're scams, and they're just going to dump on you. So for XRP to rank so low in our model, that's purely data-driven, no emotions, is kind of scary. Anyway, no more cold water. Let's talk about what else happened with Coinbase. This is just, it's too funny. I mean, it's like Coinbase were sitting there waiting to do, I won't do a finger movement or say bad language, but they're waiting to do this. Look at this. And in a message to Gensler from Coinbase, Coinbase will re-enable trading for XRP on the XRP network. Do not send this asset over to other networks where your funds may be lost, blah, 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 blah. But for them to come back out immediately and say, okay, we're going to relist XRP, that is a massive message to the SEC. And they're not playing around. They're like hitting them where it hurts. So that was a beautiful moment. Now let's talk about some of the craziness, because I did talk on Tuesday about the institutional investors just FOMOing in like crazy and getting their hands on whatever they want. This one is incredible. Just give you some perspective here. The cost of Bitcoin, I put this together. It's gone down a little bit. It's gone down Actually, it's gone down $500. It's now 31,100. But it was at 31.6. MicroStrategy was at $461.83. The MicroStrategy Premium over Bitcoin was $7,700. Okay, that was insane. To buy the equivalent of one Bitcoin with MicroStrategy shares would cost you $40,000. The last year and a half, you could have bought Bitcoin a lot cheaper by using MicroStrategy as a proxy. It has flipped completely in a few days. It's just, it's illogical. Okay, let me give you another illustration, another model we have here that we have on Patreon. This shows you in clear text with the Bitcoin price at 31,600 and the MicroStrategy price at $461.83 and the market cap of $6 billion. That means the amount of the market cap that MicroStrategy has is 80% made up of Bitcoin. Okay, 20% of it is the capitalization, and that is taking into account a net cap, which is the intrinsic value of the business I have in there, 1.2 billion. So again, crazy times. This has not been like this for years, and I built this years ago, and I watch it every single day. So again, the fair value for MicroStrategy, considering Bitcoin's price, should be about 387. But the markets are not rational, and that shows you what the institution's trying to do. Just jump in and grab whatever they can. So throwing more cold water on your party, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get shaken out or fearful or whatever. Things have gone a little bit typically overbought. Just like a few months ago, things are very oversold. Now, let's look at the miners too as an example of proxies. I mean, just look at this for perspective. You got Wolf up 22%, Hut 20%, Hive 17%, whereas Bitcoin was only up 4%. These things have been going bonkers all year, and they continue to go bonkers. It's just head scratcher. Anyway, it truly is FOMO times. Insane FOMO reminds me of literally late 2020, early 2021, the first big Bitcoin alt run, which continued like literally September 2021 was absolutely insane. And what's amazing this time, ladies and gentlemen, is it's happening way earlier than expected. Although I did expect it to happen earlier because people would front run the halving, etc. But again, so many things about this time is completely different. Okay, after all that, sorry for going so long. Thank you for the likes. DJ, glad to see you out there. Thank you for all you do. I'm going to switch gears, talk a bit about stocks. As you know, massive Tesla bull. This came out as well. Tesla is now pretty much close to setting up a factory to produce electric vehicles in India. India is the most populous country on planet Earth, over 1.4 billion people, and growing faster than any other country on Earth as well. In every way, people, money supply, you name it. But Tesla will use India as an export base for its electric vehicles. They'll make them there and then ship them around Asia, the rest of the world. Starting price for the vehicles is set to be $24,400 from Reuters. Now, why is this significant? Well, a lot of people, including Tesla investors like myself, is always worried that, well, what happens if something happens in China that could impact the Giga Shanghai factory? Having this as a hedge is awesome. Then they'll have Mexico and Berlin and everything else. So it makes the whole risk of China being far less of a risk. And anyway, I always assigned a very small probability of anything ever happening with Taiwan and China because the Chinese have bigger problems at home and they're interested in money and they don't want to go through a situation like, I won't say what country just did. In addition, traditional car companies, more news. Porsche Taycan sales fall again in Q2 2023. But I don't even know how much this car costs. But, you know, you can buy a more sophisticated technological car now for under $30,000 in the United States rather than spending $200,000 on something that goes just as fast. But the interior, in fairness, of the Porsche Taycan is nicer because they use that thick thread on the leather seats. And Tesla don't use leather, so the animals are saved. Anyway, another great news. What a day. I mean, what a day. Thank you all for being here as well. This came out. There's a new guy, his Southern District in New York. It's an office that prosecutes, and they are pit bulls. But this guy, Damian Williams, is next level. You don't want him coming after you. So everybody, be honest, be fair, and do not scam people. Now, he did talk about how if you cheat or steal to line your own pockets, he's using my term, he probably watches this channel, I always talk about pocket liners and everything else. The Southern District of New York will find you accountable. Any fraud that's out there against anybody in the US, they will catch you. And they arrested this guy today, this lying sack of poop, who lied to us, lied to my face. And he is arrested for lying, cheating, and stealing. And doesn't look so hot anymore. But that's what lying, cheating, and stealing does to you. And he is only a couple years older than me. Okay, so everybody, be honest out there. Be good to others and mankind. Now, final piece of news. The soft landing odds are improving. Headline inflation, as we saw, has slid from 9.1% in June last year to 4% in May and 3% in June. That is a huge move. Underlying inflation edged lower. Airfares fell 19%. You wouldn't believe when you look at them, though. Used car prices nearly 10%. The cost of housing has tanked. Core CPI up 4.8%. By the way, core, when I say housing has tanked, I want to make sure I'm very clear on that. In select markets. Other markets that have population growth and low taxes, they're growing like crazy. Other ones are getting smashed, but on average, it's been down. And in addition, let me see. Yeah, that's all I remember to talk about that. But a lot of expert economists now are assigning a much higher probability of a soft landing, not a massive, nasty recession that everybody is expecting, including myself. Even though select areas and regions are definitely in recession. 18 of the 50 United States are in recession. Germany is in recession, etc., etc. Many other European countries too. So with that, everybody, thank you for a big show. Thank you all for coming. Hit the like on the way out. Really appreciate you. Overall, an amazing day. These days happen, but there's only about 31 of them every 10 years. So enjoy this one. And with that, I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. Bye.